Hello and good morning. My name is Jennifer Bento-Pinion. I'm here at MEFA on the college planning team as director of MEFA Pathway. And this morning we are going to take a walkthrough of MEFA Pathway. So just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. Everyone will be on mute throughout the presentation. The session is being recorded, and I will send a follow-up email with the link to the recording, along with my contact information if there's any questions. And also, as this presentation is part of our MEFA Institute, it's eligible to receive PDP points. So if you go on to MEFA.org and go to the For Counselors tab, you'll see all of our offerings for the MEFA Institute, and there is a evidence of learning form that you can access right from the website, fill it out right online, and submit that. And you'll also see on that page that we have many other highlights and focus features through our planning, saving, and paying for college buckets. So certainly take advantage of that. All right, so let's get started. So as an extension of all of the great resources that MEFA offers, MEFA Pathway is a cost-free, comprehensive college and career planning platform for students in grades 6 through 12. So MEFA Pathway is an engaging, intuitive, interactive program which supports and guides post-secondary planning for all types of students. So it's been proven that early exploration and discovery is beneficial, as it allows for students to start identifying and assessing how their interests, values, skills, favorite subjects, talents align with a possible career path. And MEFA Pathway helps to facilitate this. So when a student creates an account in grades 6, 7, or 8, they will see age-appropriate activities for those grades. And then as they progress to grades 9 and beyond, MEFA Pathway, their account transitions with them seamlessly. So it's essentially one portal, but the students will see different activities depending on their grade level. So it's very easy for students to create an account. So here we are on the main landing page, mefapathway.org, and I am just going to click I am a student because we're going to look at the student features today. So I'm going to click I am a student, and then as a first-time user, the student would go through that registration process. So they create, and let me just show you the first page here. First name, last name, date of birth. They do have to follow the format. They select the city or town their school is in, and then from there they select the school. So depending on the city or town that they select, all of the schools within that district would appear. And then they create a username, they create a password. They do have to have a working email address in order to create an account. So they can, if and when they forget their password, they can reset by that email address. They also create 2 security questions. So that is another way the student can reset their password if need be. So as educators, I would highly suggest that you create your own student test account. Here, just go through that registration process. You'll select a year of graduation so that you'll be able to see those, as I mentioned, those activities that are geared towards that particular grade level. But then you can really get a good feel for the student experience. So certainly I encourage that. Okay, so I'm going to log into my test account. So credentials, username, and password, and I'm logging in here. So when the student logs in, and this is a grade 11 student. So again, grades 6, 7, 8 would see different activities than the grades 9, 10, 11, 12th graders. The grades 6, 7, and 8 have access to a discovery zone for fun activities that the students go through to identify different subjects that they like in school, and it ties them in with a career search. But I will identify those pieces that transition with the student from the younger grade levels to high school, because there are a number of pieces that they start working on in those earlier grade levels that go with them to the high school level. So this is Alice. She's a grade 11 student. And then, so when the student logs in, they are brought to their dashboard. So this we consider their personal homepage. So this offers suggested activities based upon the student's grade level. So a grade 9 student would see different activities than that of a grade 12 student. So this page offers clear guidance, next steps, alerts, and then the students have access to these, what we consider critical tasks that allows for intuitive next steps and navigation through the website. So also on this page, as you can see here, we have a video series. So a couple of years ago, we had the opportunity to interview a handful of students, great students, and they shared with us their experience in searching for colleges and applying to colleges. So it's just great for students to listen to their peers and hear about their different experiences through that process. We always have a featured scholarship on the dashboard as well, so the student can learn more about this innovation and education scholarship if they like, deadline, amount. That's just we switch that up pretty often, so when the student logs in, they may see a different one from time to time. Okay, so one of the first, and I'll just, you know what, before we jump into the actual activities, I'm going to show you the digital portfolio here. So the digital portfolio is a visual representation of the student's journey through MEFA Pathway. So this will grow and change as a student learns more about themselves, identify affinities, and grow their aptitudes and accomplishments. So as you can see here, students can add their favorite subjects, their interests, the activities, and I'll show you just this in just a couple minutes, comes in automatically from the profile details that we'll look at, the skills, the honors and awards as well. So those are all from the profile details. A link out to the resume page if the student starts creating a resume page. And then on the right-hand side here, if the student starts adding colleges to their list, careers to their list, once they start adding goals and strategies. So again, the student, all of the student information on this page is editable. And when the student updates information, the educators in the counselor portal will have access to that real-time data of to assess the trends and the differences over time, which helps guide the student. Okay, so let's dig into, first we're going to look at the profile here. So this is one of the first activities that we encourage students to work on. This is one of those activities that is available for grades 6, 7, 8. So important for students to start building out these profile details. So number one, they don't forget all of the great things that they're doing. Sometimes if a student is so active, they might in grade 11 forget that they were on the debate team in grade 8. So they really want to start adding information into this profile at an early age. Everything is editable, so they can, let's just go through here. So this is the student's personal information page, so basic information, their school. So depending on what they selected for their school, that would be their current school. And then they can also add previously attended schools if they like. Moving on to academics, students can add their GPA, their number of AP courses taken if that's applicable. They can add in SAT scores, ACT scores. So this is all managed by the student. So it's up to them to get their information in here and edit it as needed. Activities. So this is where the student can add. Let me just show you how this one works because they offer quite a few options from the drop down here. So this would be clubs, sports. Here we are. We have athletics, debate, as you can see they're alphabetized. And then if the student doesn't find their activity on this drop down, they can just click other. So important to note within these profile pages is that the student, if they're typing in within a box, they do need to make sure things are capitalized properly, spelled properly. Any type of punctuation needs to be accurate because there's not a spell check on these pages here. So important to note for the students. So they identify the type of activity, grades involved, and then they can add, if applicable, position held. They can add a little description if they like. And then they just move through these pieces here. So add honors and awards. They can identify skills and strengths. They can add up to 8. So there's a list here, and then they can select up to 8 and then save. They do have to remember to save these pages. So if they don't save a page, their information is not going to be saved. So employment, maybe the student in the earlier grades, any type of babysitting, important to track it all within these profile details. And then last but not least, we have, this is actually a new page here. Students can add any certifications that they've earned. So once the student starts working through the profile, they then will it automatically is tied. All of the information that they put within the profile details then appears on this resume builder page. So as you can see, I'll just scroll down here slowly. It's bucketed here, so into the different buckets here. And then so what the student does is they can deselect when they would like to create a draft of a resume. They deselect what they do not want to appear on the resume. So they can add an objective, and again, they can uncheck what they do not want to appear. And then they click save. And once they name their resume, it then appears on their resume list. So let me just bring one up here that I usually just put a date on it. So let me bring up one that I created. So the student can create as many resume drafts as they like for whatever purpose, whether it's a job interview or for a college application. So this allows the student to use this template, which is super easy to use. As you can see here, they can choose a resume style if they like. The default is the classic, but they can change it to modern if they like. And then from here, you can see how nice it looks. From here, the student can download as a PDF and or download as a Word doc. So if they download as the Word doc, then they can edit further if they like to. So they can change the order, they can change the font, they can use the spell check if they need to do that. So very, very simple for the student to use. And the student is building on this from year to year. So we encourage students to come back in here at least 2 times a year to update their information, especially after a season of soccer, right? The student comes back in, adds soccer, team captain, grade 12, saves it, and then it's on their they can add that to a resume if they like. So very easy to use. Okay, so let's move along to the Discover Careers. So as you can see here, the website is broken up into kind of steps. So very intuitive for the student to just work through these steps. So we're just going to go through these steps. So Discover Careers. So within the Discover Careers pages, students can learn more about themselves and the careers that might fit them. So MEFA Pathway's career information demonstrates opportunities that exist in Massachusetts, allowing to create connectivity between career goals and opportunities across the Commonwealth. So we have 3 assessments within the site. So let's go to get to know yourself. We have what are your interests, what are your work values, and what are your skills. So the interests and the work values assessment, those tie into a career search. So I'll show you how that works. We'll just go into one assessment here. We'll go into the interest assessment. So the student can retake these assessments as many times as they like. And on the educator side in the counselor portal, you would be able to see the student's results and assess the trends and differences over time. So the student, again, can retake as many times as they like. On the counselor side, on the counselor portal, on the educator side, you would see up to 3 groupings of those results. So if the student retakes for a 4th time, they then the oldest set of results would not appear in the counselor portal. So these assessments are also available for students in grades 6, 7, and 8, and that is a new addition. So we're excited about that. So the student just clicks Get Started, and then there are 30 activities that they rate from this very sad face to this very happy face. So they just go through, read the activity, click on their rating, And then when they get to the end, I won't take you through the whole 30, but when they get to the end, they will get to a results page that looks like, let's see, it's loading here. It looks like this. So the student gets through the 30 activities, they click save, and then based on how they rated those activities, you could see the top 3 results. So this student here has investigative, artistic, conventional here. So now the student can read about, there's a quick summary about what these are. And then from here, the student can start looking at different careers. So let's just take investigative as an example. They click on, let's see, careers related to that result. Here's a small list. And then from here, the student can say, oh, let's see, cytogenetic technologist. What is that? So we click on that. And no matter how many times I've done these assessments and shown students and educators, walked through these steps here, I always find careers that I've never heard of before. So it's pretty interesting. So cytogenetic technologist, we have a short summary at the top. You can see projected growth, education level. And then as we scroll down, the student will get much more detailed information on this particular career, daily tasks, work activities, education required. Many of the careers offer a video, so 90-second video. The student brings this up. They can listen to a person talking about what they do in a day or what kind of activities and tasks that they're responsible for. So this really allows the student to start that career exploration and discovery through these career pieces here. So if the student wants to save a career to their list, they can just click save here. And once they start doing that, I'll just show you what the career list page looks like. The student can add as many careers as they'd like to their list. But what I like to point out on this page is the career category or career cluster. So the student, maybe in grades 7, 8, 9, they're really just piling on the careers. They're working through the site. They're looking. They're doing the assessments. And they've added, this. Alice has 16 careers on her list. But what the student can start to assess is the career category that is appearing more than maybe a couple of times. So in Alice's case here, she's got quite a few in the STEM category. So then, maybe she's like, well, I'm not sure that I'm going to go to school to be a nuclear engineer, but maybe she wants to look at further careers within that career category that she may want to, she may want to look at. So that's how the assessments tie into that career search. So going to the main career search page here, this really opens that exploration up even further. So on the main career search page, the students can add different filters to create a list of careers that they may want to look at. So they can tie in their results of their interest and values assessment just by clicking, let's say, use my interests. So you'll see when I click on that, the top 3 results based off of the students, the ratings of that assessment. We have 260 careers that are found. And then the student can apply, if they like, they can apply the results of their values assessment. Then they can also apply a career category if they like. They can apply an education level. So maybe Alice is thinking, what, I'd like to go to school for vocational training or a 2-year degree. So based on her interests, based on her values, we have 14 careers that are found. So again, the student just clicks on, energy auditor, it brings them to that results page again. So they can, again, save the career to their list if they like, and they keep going through that process. All right. So let's move on to the internships page. So this is a fairly new addition to the website. This is regularly updated. And so the student can look at opportunities that are available. And we've started to see more remote obviously, because of the pandemic, we've seen more and more remote opportunities for students. So this changes, based on what's offered. So the student can just click on a particular offering here and get more information about that. They can also filter by category. So great, great opportunities for students. Internships are worth their weight in gold for sure. So, this is a great page for students to check out. And then last but not least, underneath the Discover Careers area here, we have 4 pretty new features. So this is very easy to navigate, where students can learn about top trending skills and occupations. They can look at projected growth of certain careers, areas of the country that have the highest concentration of certain occupations, and then they can explore a career path. So let's look at we won't go through all of them. Let's look at the now trending. So the now trending allows the student to select a location. So let's look at Massachusetts as a location, and then we can select a career category. So let's look at healthcare. All right. So now what we see here are top careers, top skills, soft skills, top technology skills, and companies that are hiring based on the location in the career category. So from here, the student can look at these top careers. They can favorite a career right from this list if they like. But also important is that we have a link to LinkedIn right from this page. So it's been suggested and encouraged that students start building their LinkedIn profile earlier. Now too, they're saying grade 10 that students should start creating a LinkedIn profile. So if we click this little magnifier, it will bring them to the external website of LinkedIn. So great connection there. And then just one more we'll look at under here is let's look at popular places. So this is pretty neat because maybe you have a student that is looking to move away from Massachusetts, right? So let's pick a category. Let's see, let's finance, and then let's look at I don't know, it's always fun to pick financial manager. All right, so we got our career category, we dial in pretty specifically to an occupation, and then you can see what's within the United States, the job opportunities. So the blue is less than 500. This green color is 5 to 1,000. You can see, so you can see areas of the country where these jobs are needed, which is in red. All of the information within the Investigate Your Future features comes from Burning Glass, which is different than our the career data within our career search piece comes from ONET. So just a little bit different. And the Burning Glass information is updated very regularly. It's on a weekly basis. So everything's very current. All right, so let's move on to the Build Career Plan. So we are looking within the Build Career Plan, our goals and strategies page. This is offered to students in grades 6, 7, and 8. So really cool for students to start working on thinking about both short and long-term academic, career, and personal goals. So as you can see here, Alice started creating goals. Let's see, she started creating goals in 6th grade. So you can see when the goal was created, and then if the goal has been completed. So very simple to add a goal. Just click Add Goal. The student identifies the career type. They can add in a name or a description, and then they can also add strategies to that goal. How is the student going to meet that goal? It gets them to thinking about, okay, well, I want to make the high honor roll every semester. How am I going to do that? I'm going to study, I'm going to have a tutor, I'm whatever strategies they need to complete that goal. They can add an expected completion date. So they add their goals in, and then they come back into the website and update from time to time when they've completed a goal. They can also change the view on this, which this page is, this format is new. So it's kind of neat because you can see listed out the goals based on the career type and then when they were created, if they were completed. So just a great, this is a page too that will change as the student changes as well through the years. The course planner, this is a feature that on the educator side in the counselor portal, if you're one of our affiliate schools and have access to the counselor portal, you have the opportunity to build out a course catalog for your students. So the student can then select from the course catalog per year. So maybe this is, and this on the student side, it's completely managed by the student. So it's the student's responsibility to add their courses that they're taking in and then come back in and update when they've completed a course with their final grade and how many credits that they earned. So as you can see here, Alice is, she has updated her courses and her final grades and the credits earned. So then at the very top here, it fills in with the requirements. So the Mass Core and graduation requirements based off the schools. So the student can see, oh, in order to complete the Mass Core requirements, I need this, the areas that are not colored in or where the student needs to, where they need to take care of that. So, all right. So kind of cool there. It's good for the students too, just as graduation requirements, oh shoot, I'm a grade 11 student and I still need 2 math courses. All right, so they need to, that's an alert for them. So this is a good feature for them to manage. All right, so let's move on to search for colleges. So within the search for colleges tab, we have a great career search. So we have, as you can see, just under 4,000 2- and 4-year colleges that are available within the website. So the student can add filters on the left here, and then based off of their filters, they would see colleges that are applicable. So let's just do a quick little search here. So let's look at colleges in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. Maybe we have our student here maybe wants to look at schools in a suburban or a small town setting. So they can add that in. They can add tuition if they like. They can add, if they'd like to just look at public or private schools, they can add in the GPA, test scores if they like. But as you can see here, just based off of what I added in on the left-hand side here, we have a pretty healthy list of schools. So we have 66 2- and 4-year schools based on that criteria. So now the student can say, oh, all right, well, I want to check out Bentley. I want to check out what Bentley has to offer. So they just click on the school. They can see general information at the top. They can see this is a new edition. It's kind of tiny, but see how much you might pay. If they click on that, it will bring them to the school's, the college's net price calculator. So an external website. So great for the student to go through the net price calculator. As you can see, as we scroll down, gets into the details of the school, majors and degrees, admissions information, tuition and fees. So a lot of information on the colleges that's offered. And then as we get down to the very bottom, there's contact information. So a link to the school, the college's website, their main page, and then also the admissions page as well. So all of the information on the colleges comes from Peterson's, and that's updated yearly. So it is the responsibility of the college to update Peterson's. So it's very rare that you find a college that has information that's outdated, but it is the responsibility of the college to update that Okay, so this one, if the student has started creating that college list, it's very easy once they're on that main page or even on the college search, they can save colleges to their list. So here's Alice's list of colleges that she saved, and maybe, similar to the career list, maybe the student has 17 colleges on their list to start, but then they're narrowing that list down to those schools that maybe they're going to apply to. So students can add any of these colleges to their favorites list. Once they've added a college to the favorites list, then it appears on their digital portfolio. So also identified on this page is if a college participates in mass transfer or the early college program. So those are great, Massachusetts offers such great opportunities for students. And that said, I will now show you the mass transfer benefits page here. So it's becoming more and more common, and it's such a great, smart thing to do for students is to start at a community college. They can save so much money on their education by starting at a community college. Maybe they get that AA degree, and then, if they want, they can transfer to a four-year school. And so what this feature does is it actually shows what a student can save. So let's just do a quick little search here. So I want to start at Middlesex Community College. So as you can see here, our list of community colleges within Massachusetts appears in the drop-down box. And then I want to start at Middlesex Community College, and maybe then I want to transfer to Salem State. Okay, so based on those selections, we can see the 3 programs within mass transfer. So we have the Gen Ed Foundation program in the requirements and the details, the A to B program, and then the Commonwealth Commitment program. So from here, the student can look at the requirements and say, oh, wow, I could save an estimate of over $15,000 if I take advantage of the Commonwealth Commitment program. I want to save this plan. So we save the plan. And once the plan is saved, it then appears on the My Mass Transfer Benefits page. So these are all of the plans that Alice has saved. And then once the student has started to save these different plans, they can then apply these plans to the college compare tool and the college cost calculator, which I will show you in just a moment. So the college compare tool is perfect for students to use when they have their very long list of colleges, but now they're assessing what colleges do I actually want to apply to. So they can save as many comparisons as they like. So they can select from their college list. They can choose by college name. They can also add and set preferences to a college compare. So let me just show you, I have one saved here for you. See, we have a long list of comparisons here. So the student can save as many. I don't even know if there's a limit. Let me show you this comparison. So they just click on one of these saved comparisons. And I had selected the five schools here. And I usually just put a date on all my stuff. And you can see the 5 colleges going across the top here that were added. And then you can see the key factors: undergraduate information, tuition information, academic information. So what happens here is the student can assess how they fit in to these different pieces of criteria. So maybe they're a student that has a GPA of 3.5. So they would fit right into, maybe that if they have a 3.5, Fitchburg State, Bridgewater State, and Framingham State may be a target school for them. Whereas BU with a GPA of 4.0 might be a little bit more of a reach school. So they can really build out that list of schools that they are going to apply to. And, it's so important for students to build out a list that makes sense to them, that, consists of target schools, a couple of safety schools, maybe one reach school, but that has it's super important for students to build out a list of schools that are, an academic fit, a financial fit for them. So the College Compare is a great way to do that. All right, so moving on, manage applications. MEFA Pathway does integrate with Common App and Parchment. We are in our 3rd year of this offering, still free of cost. We don't, we'll never charge for any of these great opportunities that we offer. So if you are an affiliate school and you want to integrate with Common App and Parchment, that would be something that in the spring you make a commitment to, and then your students would have access. So they create their Common App account, they create their MEFA Pathway account, they connect those accounts, and then on the educator side, you would manage all of the school reports, the letters of recommendation, right through the counselor portal. And we do have a new addition just this season. We have a teacher portal for letters of recommendations that students request from teachers. So it's a great opportunity and a great option for our affiliate schools. All right, so lastly, we are going to look at the Pay for College features. So first, we have a great informational page here, so you can link right to the applying for the FAFSA, the CSS profile. So we have different types of financial aid. So great informational page here. The scholarship search. This is a national database, also from Peterson's. So as you can see, just under 5,000 scholarships that the student can work similarly to as the college search does. So the student can apply different filters on the left-hand side here, and then build out a list of potential scholarships that they may want to apply to. So I'm just going to click right on this first one here to show you. So they click on the scholarship, they get the information, and then they can just click save. Once they started saving scholarships to their list, they then appear here within this page, and they can, what's important on this page is they can look at the deadlines, because obviously they don't want a deadline to pass if they're looking to apply for any of these scholarships. So then they can come back in and update the status if they received the award, or if they're interested, or if they've applied, they can update the status. They can also update the award amount. They can remove a scholarship from the list if they like. Also within this scholarship search page here, educators in the counselor portal, you have the option to add local scholarships. So you would add any local scholarships directly into the counselor portal. And once you do so and save, however many you'd like to save, they then would appear on the student's local scholarship page here. So we have the national database, and then if the school adds any local scholarships. So if the school adds any local scholarships, only those students that attend that school will see those local scholarships. So you just, same sort of process, click the scholarship, get the information on the scholarship, they can save it to the list, and then it's appearing on that list. All right, so easy. I mean, the scholarship search is, I think, for a lot of students, an overwhelming process because there are so many out there. And, I think a lot of students too, once they get to that, they've applied for college, they're like, oh, phew, it's done. But there's so many, it's well worth their time and effort, because there are so many out there that go unawarded every year. So whenever I talk to students, I just encourage them to take the time and do the research and apply for as many as they can, because it's free money. I think that might be something that students don't realize as well, that this is free money. Scholarships do not need to be paid back. So again, well worth their time and effort. All right, so moving on to the college cost calculator. So this is a great feature for when students they've been admitted to a college or colleges, and they have their financial aid offers right in front of them. They can add those colleges that they've been accepted to, and then use this. And I have a few here that I've added, but I'll just show you how the student can add in information. So when they add a college, the system automatically brings up the tuition and fees and the room and board. So that comes from the Peterson's database. So obviously, if you're here, Fitchburg State, if you're a student and you're not going to live on campus at Fitchburg State, you can just wipe out this room and board. So it's a calculator that, based on what the student puts in or takes out, it calculates out that annual and 4-year cost gap. So student adds they put in an estimate of books and supplies, an estimate of extra expenses. As you can see, they have the opportunity to add a health insurance number. And then again, they just take their financial aid offer that's right in front of them and add in what they've received from that school for state scholarships, institutional scholarships. They have applied for a couple of outside scholarships. They received the YMCA scholarship for $1,000. They add that in. Any grants, Pell Grant, federal SEOG. So every financial aid offer will be different. So it's important for the student to assess when they're thinking about where they'll actually send their deposit to for May 1st, assessing and making the smartest informed decision. So if they've been awarded work study, any other resources, maybe they have saved $1,000, they have in their savings account, they can add that in. So once they get all of those numbers right in, they just calculate out the cost gap. So again, they do that for all of the schools that they've been accepted to. And then at the bottom here, the student can see the annual cost gap and the 4-year cost gap. So as you can see here, the University of New Hampshire is going to have the largest cost gap, followed by Northeastern, and then the state schools gave the best financial aid offers to the student here. So, maybe Northeastern was at their top choice, but it might be a much smarter financial decision to go to Worcester State. And the student can save this as a PDF and print out if they like. All right, so then we also have the loan cost estimator. So this feature here, this can and should be used in the younger grade levels. I think there's so many, we hear about so many students that get into a lot of student debt, and we just want to educate students about what this looks like. And I think one of the big conversations too is around interest. A lot of students think, oh, well, I'm only borrowing $10,000, but they don't really realize that if they get a loan for $10,000, there's interest that is added to that. So this tool helps to show what that looks like. So I just clicked on my college cost gap total. So based off of the college cost calculator, we have our 5 schools here and that college cost gap. So let's just, for the sake of our example here, let's look at Northeastern. Okay, so this is based off of 4 years, right? So over the course of 4 years, the student has a cost gap of close to $32,000. So let's put in the interest rate. They're telling us that 5 is the typical student loan interest rate. How many years are we going to take to repay? I always start off with 15 years to show the students, because I'll show you in just a second. I then go back up and pop 10 years in to show them the difference. But based on 15 years to repay this amount here and the interest rate of 5%, the student is looking at an estimated monthly loan payment of a little over $250. And then after 15 years, the total amount that you will have paid is $45,000, a little over $45,000. So we took out a loan for 32, but with the interest, we're paying over 45. So almost, 13.5 will be the interest. So again, that's the conversation that the students need to hear. So let's go back and look at taking 10 years to repay and see how our numbers change. So our monthly loan payment goes up a little bit, but after 10 years, the total amount goes down and the amount that you pay in interest goes down. So then the student can say, okay, well, I want to see if this is affordable for me. When I'm going to school, if I have a monthly loan payment, student loan payment of a little over, $336 estimate, based on my career choice, does this make sense? You know, I want to go to school to be a graphic designer. All right, so I'm popping graphic designer in. So based off of our database here, I put in graphic designer. It's telling me my projected annual salary is just a little over 50,000. And then I want to calculate the affordability of that loan. So based on that, the salary and the monthly loan payment, it's on the lower stress end. But if I were to put, let's say, I'm just going to put in $900 as my monthly loan payment. Whoops, it's not allowing me to do that. It's going back to what I popped in there before. So it's based off of this. But let's say I'm taking out a much higher loan. So maybe I'm taking out 100,000, which is obviously very high, but I just want to show you how the system works here. So based off of my monthly loan payment and my career choice, yeah, that monthly loan payment is a little more stressful. So again, good for the students to go in, look at the numbers, add the different careers, and just really think about that whole student loan piece. And then last but not least, we have the expected family contribution calculator. So this brings a student through 5 steps where at the end, the student can see an estimate of what their family may pay for college for one academic year. So again, something that the student can use, and might vary from year to year. So maybe if they start looking at this in grade 9, it might change a little bit over the course of a couple of years, depending on the family's financial situation. Okay, so that was a kind of soup to nuts view of our, I looked at a grade 11 student. But again, we have some different features within the site that when the student builds their career, builds their account in grades 6, 7, and 8 that go with the student. So that's the profile details, the digital portfolio page, the goals and strategies, their career list, and so that is, again, it's really important for students to start looking at these areas early. If you are I'm just going to log out here and show you as an educator, you might be interested in seeing this page here. So this is our 4 counselors page. You do not have to have a login to get to this page. So some great resources. We have all of our webinars and trainings that are offered, as well as recorded webinars. We have an amazing lesson plan library. So if you're an educator that wants to look, you can see there's many different topics here that you can access. So just for example, looking at the compare colleges, you just click on the PDF, it'll bring up the lesson plan, tells you the objectives, the activities. So it really gives you a step-by-step, just a guide on how to use many of the different features within the site. So, very easy for you as educators to get to that. And then, so we have announcements. We have our MyCap curriculum guide. If you're a school that if you're a MyCap school, this is a guide that shows grades 9, 10, 11, and 12 activities and lesson plans that tie into those activities based on the objectives of the different domains of personal, social, career development, education, and academic, college, and career planning. So, just a great guide for you as educators to use MEFA Pathway with MyCap. And then let's see. So so we have the MEFA Institute. And then as an affiliate school, we currently have 114 affiliate schools across the Commonwealth. So if you are interested in becoming one of our affiliate schools, you can just contact me. Being an affiliate school gives you access to the counselor portal. So you would have a login to the counselor portal that just, it's a secure community that only you have access to help guide your students. So let me just show you, I'll show you quickly. We have a few minutes here. So we're just going to So when you, as an affiliate school, an educator, you log into your secure community, this is your dashboard. You would see, you can manage your counselor assignment from here. Our schools, most of them upload a student data file, so that would create a complete roster for you. So when you create that and upload that student data file, you'll see all of your students that attend your school, and then once they register accounts, you would then start seeing how many of those accounts are registered, and then you would start to see, this is our metrics dashboard here. You can manage and look to see, maybe you've said to your grade 9 students, I want you all to go in and start adding activities into your profile. So then you can see which of those grade 9 students went in and did that. So these bring up reports. You can, based on the student activity, you can see any of that activity within the counselor portal here. So you can access all of your students at once, or by year of graduation, or just those students that are assigned to you. You can also, from this dashboard, we have a link to Edwin. There's a link to that file upload page. And typically with the file upload, there is a data manager that takes care of that. I will mention something new just within the last month or so. We have Clever integration. So if you are a Clever district, you can integrate with MEFA Pathway so that the student has that single sign-on. So that's a huge benefit as well. The local scholarships page that I mentioned earlier. So this, I'll just show you what it looks like. So this is where you would add your local scholarships that the student would then view on their side. You can also add an attachment to these if you like. So there's just one here in my test account, but this was the one that I showed you in the student side. And then also we have a messaging center. So the messaging center allows for you to send alerts through the system. So the student does have to log in to log into their MEFA Pathway account to receive their messages. These links here provide feedback, report an issue, help and training. Those all go to me. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can just very simply click on one of these links. And again, following this webinar, I will send along an email with my contact information. So you'll have that as well. And then just quickly, I'll show you if you want to look up a student. So let's look up my test girl, test student, Alice. So search by last name. Or if you wanted to search by, maybe you're an educator that wants to see all of your students with the last name of T. You just the percent sign actually acts as a wild card, so you can bring up a complete list of students beginning with the last name of T if you like using that percent sign. But let's just quickly look at Alice. So when we look at a student's record here, when we search for a particular student, you can see that the main page of the student's record has a wealth of information on the student. So you can really assess the activity, last activity, and then I'll just show you here if the student has identified a future path. You'll see that here. Any goals, academic, personal, career goals, and all those strategies. Have they completed that goal? Have they completed that strategy? Expected completion date. Any activities that were added into the profile. So as you can see here, they're listed out. Any honors and awards, skills and strengths. This is all profile information, employment, certifications. Favorite subjects comes from the student's digital portfolio, their interests. There is a learning styles inventory on the student's digital portfolio page, and that's an external link. So if they take that assessment and identify their top learning style, that's here for you to see as well. And then the assessment results. So as I explained earlier, the student can retake the assessments as many times as they like, but you as the educator would see groupings of 3. So once the student takes it for a 4th time, then it's kicked out. So it's great for educators to see over time, the trends and differences of where their students are. The skills assessment, that's a rating that the student rates those skills. And then at the very bottom here, you can see the careers a student has added to their list. Important right here is, again, that career category and looking at the what's appearing most often for the student. And then at the very bottom, if the student has started adding colleges to that My Applications page. So you can see that as well really quickly from here. So this is just the students. This is just the main kind of dashboard page of the student's record. And then as we scroll up, you'll be able to see that you can click on many of these areas here and get more detailed information. So the comments page, a lot of our schools use this for to track student if they have meetings with students. So student doesn't see that. That's managed, that's just a feature for the educator. I will show you this one other page here, that student resources and support. So you can identify if a student has a 504 plan or an IEP. You can, if there are any barriers to success. And this page here, the student does not see. It's just for you, the educator. So if you add anything to these pages, obviously you want to save it. All right. So that was, we'll just go back to the dashboard here. When in doubt, go back to the dashboard. But yes, so that wraps up our webinar here. We're close to an hour. That's perfect. Again, I will send a follow-up email if any of you folks have any questions, or if you're interested in becoming one of our affiliate schools, please don't hesitate to reach out. I thank you for your time today. I hope this was beneficial, and I hope you enjoyed walking through the platform. And don't forget to get onto MEFA.org and get your PDPs for this session. Again, that evidence of learning form is right on the website there, and you can just do it right. It's an online form. It's super easy. All right. Thanks so much. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining.